Chosen one. The shift wasn't random. It's your turn now. It's your turn now. Something inside you knew this moment was coming. Everything. The confusion, the heartbreak, the long nights filled with silent prayers was part of a larger, divinely orchestrated transition. A shift you couldn't control, but that always had your name on it. And now, that shift has fully aligned. You've entered a new energetic season. This isn't just another day. This isn't just another phase. This is a timeline reserved for you, and only you. It's your turn now. Before we dive deep, I want to ask you something that's more than a comment. It's an affirmation of light. Please stay with us till the very end of this message. And if this resonates with you, write your warmest wishes in the comments, along with the number 99. This isn't just a video, it's a vibration. This is a chapter about wishes coming true and energizing the universe. The shift you've just stepped into didn't come by luck. It didn't arrive on the wind by accident. It's a divine reply to everything you've endured. While others may have overlooked you, heaven didn't. This shift is the echo of every silent why that left your lips in the dark. It's your permission to stop surviving and start rising. You weren't skipped over. You were being prepared. Now, the heavens whisper, it's your turn. And let's be clear, this turn doesn't just mean a little light peeking through the clouds. This means breakthrough, divine compensation, a cosmic green light that's been held back for you until the exact right time. It was not about being late, it was about being aligned. You're not stepping into random favor. You're stepping into a promise fulfilled. You've probably felt the subtle changes already. Energies rearranging, people exiting, old patterns collapsing without explanation. This is the shift clearing your path, not to punish, but to position. Every closed door recently, that wasn't rejection, it was protection. The universe has been silently rerouting you toward a space with your name on it. And now, that space is open, available, waiting. You've been trained in ways the world could never measure. Your soul carries codes that were written through adversity, and now those codes are activating. What seemed like a delay was discipline. What seemed like a loss was leverage. The training season is over. You don't need to beg. You don't need to chase. You are aligned, and you are ready. You may have felt invisible to the world for a while. That wasn't punishment. That was concealment. Strategic divine camouflage, so your spirit could mature in peace, away from premature pressure and outside voices. Now that your spirit is refined, you're being revealed. People will suddenly notice what was always there. But you'll know. It's not that you just appeared. It's that now is your time to be seen. There's something sacred about being chosen. It means carrying what others couldn't, enduring what others escaped. But it also means receiving what others can't access. It's a higher calling, a rarer path. But now that the shift has placed you here, in this divine window, you can't play small anymore. Not out of fear, not out of comfort, and definitely not out of loyalty to your old self. The shift demands that you walk in your power. You won't need to force your next chapter. It's already magnetizing toward you. Opportunities are aligning, connections are forming. You are being drawn to what matches the frequency of your future. The shift has begun internally, and now it will reflect externally. As within, so without. This is the law of divine symmetry. Do not downplay what you carry. You've been called to lead, to build, to inspire, and the shift is confirming that you no longer need to apologize for your depth. You're not too much. You were just surrounded by those who weren't prepared for your magnitude. But the shift has pulled you into spaces where your spirit fits. Expect people to circle back. Expect situations to return for closure. Not because you need them, but because they need to witness your growth. The shift won't only elevate you, it will expose who was never meant to come with you. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. And clarity is the new currency of your path. It's your turn to speak with authority, to walk like you belong, to decide without fear. The shift has removed your need to hope things will happen. Now you know they will. There's a certainty in your energy. You've been entrusted with the weight of this calling because you proved, without fanfare, that your character could carry it. This is your era of ease. Not because life is suddenly perfect, but because your soul is aligned. You no longer resist what you're called to. And that acceptance, that full surrender, is what activates acceleration. Things that once took years will now take days. Because time bends for those who are in sync with divine design. You may feel like you're just beginning, but you've already endured what most couldn't survive. You've already passed the tests that were never announced. You've won battles that left no scars, only spiritual muscle. Now the universe acknowledges your resilience with reward. This shift is not a gamble, it's a gift. And with every breath, you're stepping into it more fully. You're being drawn to sacred spaces, aligned connections, inspired visions. You're not reaching anymore. You're receiving. There's a difference. This isn't a hustle season. This is a harvest season. And every seed you planted in tears is about to bloom in joy. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Don't over-explain your shift to people who are still in a season of resistance. Let your life be the testimony. Let your peace speak louder than your words. Those who are meant to understand will feel it in their spirit. Those who can't, release them with grace. This is a supernatural shift, a divine turn, a spiritual unfolding. And you, chosen one, are right on time. There is a moment when the silence breaks, not with noise, but with knowing. And that's where you are now. Something deeper than words has settled in your spirit. A confirmation without a conversation. You don't need anyone else to validate it. You've crossed into sacred territory. It's no longer about proving anything. It's about becoming. Everything that once felt delayed is now arriving with divine precision. You've exited the cycle of asking and entered the season of arrival. This is not about what's coming someday. This is about what's unfolding now. You've done the work in the invisible. Now the visible is catching up. The shift wasn't random. It was God's timing, waking up your destiny. You've entered into a divine rhythm. Things that used to feel forced now feel fluid. Conversations are aligning. Rooms you never imagined are opening. Doors are being unlocked without you having to knock. Because this is not about effort anymore. It's about alignment. You're not chasing. You're attracting. You're not striving. You're surrendering. And in surrender, you gain access. Notice how things are accelerating. Not because you're running faster, but because the resistance has lifted. You're no longer dragging dead weight. You've let go of expired seasons. You've disconnected from places that drained you. And now, with that spiritual space cleared, momentum is building naturally. The shift is also bringing new responsibilities, but not in a heavy way. These are assignments that match your soul. You're being called into roles that resonate, tasks that fulfill, movements that elevate. There's no longer a dissonance between what you do and who you are. You're becoming the embodiment of your calling. And with that embodiment comes elevation. Quietly, subtly, consistently, your frequency is rising. You're noticing things differently. You're drawn to different conversations. Your priorities have shifted. Not because you were forced, but because you've evolved. And evolution is the evidence of elevation. You may feel a separation from what used to comfort you. That's not a loss. That's a launch. You weren't meant to stay small. You weren't created to remain hidden in mediocrity. The discomfort you've been feeling lately, that's the stretching of your capacity, the divine upgrade of your inner foundation. You're being expanded to receive more. And this more isn't just about material things. It's about meaning, purpose, wholeness, deep joy that isn't dependent on external circumstances. The shift is revealing that your true wealth is internal. Peace, wisdom, discernment, courage, these are the treasures that last, and you've earned them in the dark. This is also the season of exposure, not to shame, but to reveal. The veil is being lifted. Truth is rising. You will see people for who they really are, opportunities for what they really offer, environments for what they truly carry. You've been entrusted with discernment, and now you must use it. Everything can't come with you. Everyone can't sit at this table, and that's okay. The shift is not about pleasing, it's about positioning. Let people misunderstand your silence. Let them misinterpret your peace. You're not here to explain your path. You're here to walk it. Loud confidence is easy. Quiet certainty is divine. You carry that now. This is also the time for strategic movement. Not random action, but intentional alignment. Each decision now matters more. Each yes carries weight. Each no preserves energy. You are being called to steward your time, energy, and focus like never before. You are no longer available for distractions disguised as detours. And with this heightened clarity comes new creativity. Ideas are returning. Visions are awakening. Dreams you shelved long ago are whispering again. This isn't nostalgia. This is divine reactivation. Seeds that went dormant during hardship are now germinating. They didn't die. They were simply waiting for your spirit to be strong enough to carry them. Don't be surprised when things begin falling into place with ease. When something you've struggled with for years suddenly becomes simple. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. This is what divine alignment looks like. When your internal world matches the frequency of your external world, life begins to cooperate. You've been in survival mode for so long that peace may feel unfamiliar. Let it in anyway. You don't have to earn your rest. You don't have to justify your joy. It's your turn to breathe again, to exhale fully, to laugh from your belly. The heaviness you carried wasn't meant to last forever. This is your exodus. Even your physical body is responding to the shift. You may feel lighter, even if nothing has changed outwardly. Your cells know what your spirit knows. Freedom is near. Liberation is happening. The energetic release is real. You're being prepared to carry new light, new authority, new revelation. This turn you've stepped into. It doesn't mean everything will be perfect, but it does mean everything will be purposeful. Even the challenges will now carry divine instruction. Every interaction will carry a vibration. This is the difference between wandering and walking in destiny. You're no longer trying to figure it out. You're listening, you're flowing, you're guided. And as you continue to walk in this shift, you'll notice something else. The right people are finding you. You no longer need to chase belonging. The tribe is forming. Souls that resonate with your spirit are appearing, gently, naturally, with sacred timing. You're being connected to destiny partners, not convenience companions. You've cried enough. You've carried enough. You've been patient long enough. Now the tide is turning. The divine current is in your favor. Don't sabotage it by trying to control it. Let it carry you. Let it bless you. Let it rebuild you from the inside out. There's no more need to explain what you've been through. The evidence is in your energy. The radiance is in your resilience. The power is in your presence. You're no longer the person who begged for approval. You are the person who commands rooms in silence. There's a crown on your head that life tried to make you forget, but the shift has adjusted your posture. You're standing taller, seeing clearer, loving deeper, and finally receiving what you were always worthy of. Your light is not a threat, it's a torch, and the world is darker without it. The shift was never random. It was a return to who you really are. You've always felt different, not in a way you could explain, but in a way you couldn't ignore. There was always something about you that didn't fully blend in. You carried questions no one else dared ask, pain no one else could see, and a strength no one else could name. And now, with this shift, you're finally realizing why. You were never meant to fit. You were meant to lead. The universe isn't just calling you, it's unveiling you. This isn't an introduction, this is a reintroduction. To yourself, to your purpose, to the path that was always yours, but had to wait until you were ready, until the noise quieted, until the weight of the old finally broke away. And now, with nothing holding you back, your essence is rising. Everything you've endured wasn't to break you, it was to carve you. You weren't being tested for the sake of pain, you were being shaped for the sake of impact. Every disappointment refined your discernment. Every heartbreak softened your strength. Every closed door turned you inward. And in that inward place, you found the roots of who you truly are. Now that the shift is in motion, you're seeing the patterns. You're seeing how every detour led to discovery. Every delay led to depth. What felt like confusion was really calibration, and the timing, impeccable, because now your soul has matured enough to handle what your younger self could only dream of. You no longer crave applause. You crave alignment. You're not impressed by shallow validation. You're moved by deep confirmation. The shift has taught you that real elevation doesn't come from outside. It rises from within. It's quiet, steady, secure. And that's why it lasts. Let this be your moment of full acceptance. No more shrinking. No more playing small to make others comfortable. No more hiding your fire to avoid the heat. You are not too much. You are exactly enough for the mission you've been entrusted with. And this mission, this life, is no longer about survival. It's about significance. The people who misunderstood you, misjudged you, or even mocked you, they were part of your story, but not part of your destiny. The shift has made that clear. There's no bitterness, only clarity. You bless them, you release them, and you walk forward knowing that what's ahead holds more meaning than anything you had to leave behind. Your turn doesn't mean everyone will cheer for you. It means you'll cheer for yourself, even when it's quiet. It means you'll keep showing up, not for attention, but for alignment. You're not rising for recognition. You're rising because your soul demands it, because your spirit is done playing pretend. There's a glow returning to you, a sacred fire relighting within you. You're remembering who you were before life told you to forget. You're reclaiming your intuition, your creativity, your connection to the divine. That reconnection is the real reward. That is the shift. It's not just about external change, it's about internal restoration. And from that restoration, new standards are being born. You no longer tolerate what you used to entertain. You no longer water dead things, hoping they'll bloom. You no longer ignore your gut to keep the peace. Peace without truth is not peace. It's a prison, and you've broken free. This is your becoming, your unfolding, your sacred transformation. And it's not happening in a flash. It's happening with intentional grace. Don't rush it. Don't question it. Don't compare it. Just walk it, fully, authentically, boldly, because you are built for this. Your presence now carries a vibration. People feel it before you speak. You walk into spaces and atmospheres shift, not because of ego, but because of energy. You've become magnetic, not because of looks or labels, but because of alignment. Your soul is finally at home, and that kind of peace can't be faked. The right doors are opening because you're not knocking from desperation. You're being invited by design. Your energy is your resume. Your frequency is your introduction. You don't have to force what's already yours. You just have to remain available for it. And being available means protecting your peace like never before. Not everyone gets access. Not every conversation deserves your voice. Not every invitation deserves your presence. You've earned the right to choose carefully, to guard your light, to honor your space. The shift has refined your discernment. Use it. Expect surprises. Expect ease. Expect confirmation in unexpected places. Your guides are walking with you. The path ahead has already been blessed. All that's required now is your yes, your consistent yes, your daily yes. Not just when it feels easy, but especially when it feels unfamiliar. That unfamiliar space. That's growth. That's divine stretching. That's the evidence that you're no longer walking in circles. You're stepping forward, not as who you were, but as who you truly are. The shift is not just changing your life, it's changing you. You are no longer reactive. You are intentional. You are no longer waiting for signs. You are following knowing. The shift has taught you that the most powerful voice isn't external, it's internal. And now, your inner compass is calibrated. You trust yourself. You honor yourself. You move differently. The future isn't a question mark anymore. It's a compass. And the direction is clear. Forward. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing. You don't need permission to take up space. You're not obligated to revisit pain just to prove you've moved on. The shift has set you free, not to escape life, but to embrace it fully. And now, you live not in fear of what could go wrong, but in trust of what is going right. You speak less. You sense more. You chase less. You attract more. You fear less. You believe more. And most of all, you dim less. You shine more. You've waited long enough. It's your turn now. There's something powerful that happens when you realize you no longer have to be who you were. The old identity, crafted out of survival, expectation, and past pain, has served its purpose. But now, it's dissolving. The shift has called your real self forward. The version of you that doesn't ask for permission. The version of you that remembers your soul's truth. The version of you that has always been waiting just beneath the surface. And now, it's safe for that version to emerge. You've let go of so much. You've cried over things others never saw. You've walked away from comfort. You've surrendered habits that once protected you, but eventually began to limit you. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's growth. That's the kind of strength that can't be taught, only earned. You are no longer who you were, and thank God for that. The shift brought you back to your essence, not the image others created for you, not the projection of roles and expectations, but the real you. And that real you doesn't move with fear. That real you isn't burdened by the need to please. That real you knows the assignment, knows the purpose, knows the weight of the calling, and walks with quiet power. You no longer need to be loud to be heard. Your alignment speaks for itself. The shift has made you aware of what matters. And now, clarity is your compass. You're no longer distracted by noise. You're drawn to peace, pulled toward purpose, attracted to the kind of joy that isn't loud but lasting. This isn't just an energetic change. It's a lifestyle change. You're not trying to force success. You're embodying your truth, and success is responding. You're not chasing timelines. You're flowing in divine timing. You're not competing. You're co-creating. Every day you wake up, your life is echoing your frequency. And because your frequency is pure, powerful things are showing up for you. People are sensing the change, not because you're showing off, but because you're showing up. Your light is brighter, and you're no longer dimming it to be digestible. If someone can't handle your radiance, they were never your assignment. You're not here to fit in. You're here to ignite, to shift the atmosphere, to carry a frequency that awakens others. And for the first time, you're not apologizing for your power. You're not explaining your light. You're simply being. And in that being, you're doing more than you ever could through effort. Because being aligned is more powerful than being busy. This new era is not about fixing yourself. It's about freeing yourself. Freeing yourself from the lies you were told. Freeing yourself from the expectations that caged you. Freeing yourself from the idea that you have to be everything for everyone to be enough. Now you know you were always enough, just as you are. This level of self-trust is new, but it's real. And you earned it. You didn't skip steps. You didn't take shortcuts. You walked through every fire. And now you carry the heat of experience, but not the burn. You are refined, not ruined. Let your posture reflect your power. No more hunched shoulders, no more hesitation. Stand fully in who you are. You are not broken. You are blooming. You are not behind. You are being positioned. You are not lost. You are learning. This is the era where you love yourself more deeply. Not the polished version, the real version. The one that's been through storms. The one that's still standing. The one that chose healing when destruction would have been easier. You are honoring your healing now, not as a project to finish, but as a process to walk in, gently, gracefully. You are not rushing to get anywhere. You are the destination. Your presence, your peace, your power. This is what the journey was always about. You'll find now that you're less interested in proving anything. You're more focused on feeling everything. Presence has become your power. You don't need to project. You just need to be. And from that place, everything aligns. You are more creative than ever, more intuitive, more discerning. Not because something outside changed, but because you changed on the inside. The shift peeled back the layers, and what's left is pure, strong, sacred. You've learned the difference between doing things for love and doing things from love. The shift didn't just adjust your path, it adjusted your posture. You're not hunched over in desperation. You're standing tall in divine reception. You're beginning to understand why it took so long, why the journey felt so painful. It had to break everything in you that couldn't carry what's coming. And now that you're free from what was never meant to stay, you're available for what was always meant to be. This is a reunion with your future, and your future is welcoming you with open arms. There are no more apologies for how far you've come. There is no more shame about how long it took. There is only gratitude, quiet, consistent gratitude, because you finally see it. None of it was wasted. Not a tear, not a prayer, not a moment in the dark. All of it counted. All of it mattered. And all of it brought you here, to this shift, to this turn, to this threshold of abundance, clarity, and divine fulfillment. No more doubting if it's your time. It is your time. Now go forward, without fear. You've stepped into a moment so sacred that even your silence is powerful now. You don't need to announce the shift. You are the shift. Your presence alone speaks of everything you've conquered, everything you've risen from. You walk with a vibration of purpose that can't be faked or copied. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. The old you would have tried to explain this energy, justify this glow, seek permission to rise. But the current version of you doesn't ask. You accept. You don't shrink for fear of being misunderstood. You expand because it's your duty to take up space as your full self. Your time of playing small has expired. And because of that, everything around you is beginning to respond. Even the things that once resisted you are now releasing you. Even the rooms that once felt locked are now inviting you in. What changed? Not the room, you. Your frequency has finally caught up with your future. The gap is closed. The bridge has been built. And you, chosen one, are now walking in the life that once seemed out of reach. This moment isn't just about personal success. It's about sacred responsibility. You're being elevated not for ego, but for impact. You're being given vision not to boast, but to build. The shift is placing you in positions where your energy is needed, where your voice creates change, where your presence recalibrates the space. You are the answer to someone's silent prayer, and the universe knows it. That's why you were hidden for so long. Not because you weren't ready to be seen, but because the world wasn't ready to receive what you carry. Now the world is ready. Now you are ready. And with readiness comes revelation. The shift is revealing who's truly for you, and who only loved the version of you that didn't challenge them. You're being shown who respects your growth and who resents it. This isn't betrayal, this is divine filtration. Let it happen. Don't chase what's falling away. Don't cling to expired energy. Your elevation is exposing what was never solid to begin with. Yes, it's painful, but it's purposeful, because you cannot walk into your next season carrying the weight of past attachments. You cannot pour your new wine into old containers. You're not here to convince anyone to believe in you. You're here to believe in yourself so deeply that it doesn't matter who doesn't. And now, that belief is being rewarded. Not with noise, but with evidence, with divine appointments, with irreversible progress, with sacred alignment. You're seeing doors open, not because you begged, but because you became. That's the secret. When you become the version of yourself your future requires, your future arrives. This shift is an activation of everything you've prepared for in silence. All the quiet healing. All the nights you chose to rest instead of retaliate. All the times you wanted to give up but didn't. Those weren't wasted moments. They were rehearsals for your destiny. And now, the curtains are opening. You're being seen. More importantly, you're being felt. Because this isn't about aesthetics. This isn't about curated perfection. This is about raw truth, lived experience, and the kind of peace that doesn't come from having it all. It comes from knowing who you are without it all. That's your power. And now that you've owned it, it can't be taken from you. Don't be surprised when people say you've changed. You have. You've evolved. You've matured. You've reclaimed your authenticity. You're no longer abandoning yourself for the sake of inclusion. You're no longer performing for love that doesn't see you. That version of you is gone. You buried them in the shift. What's left is your essence, refined, rooted, radiant. And the more you walk in this new space, the more you'll notice how easy things feel. Not because life is suddenly simple, but because your energy is no longer split between pretending and becoming. You've chosen authenticity, and with it comes flow. Opportunities won't just appear, they'll align. Conversations won't just inspire, they'll ignite. Connections won't just feel good, they'll feel fated. Because everything you're attracting now is being magnetized to the truest version of you. And that version doesn't tolerate chaos. That version values peace, values depth, values divine direction over shallow attention. You are no longer in competition. There is no race. There is no rush. You are in your lane, and your lane is blessed. This shift was the breaking of chains you didn't even know you were wearing, the healing of wounds you stopped talking about, the release of pressure you normalized. Now, you breathe differently, you rest differently, you move differently, because you finally understand the value of your own spirit. This shift has been earned through everything you thought would destroy you, but didn't. Through every moment you felt unseen, but kept showing up anyway. Through every time you broke down, but refused to stay broken. And now, you rise, not as a polished version of someone else's blueprint, but as the real, raw, unrehearsed you. The you that shines with truth. The you that radiates clarity. The you that doesn't flinch in the face of uncertainty. Because you've made peace with who you are. This is your revolution, your personal resurrection. And the world will adjust to the frequency of your becoming. Take a moment and look at how far you've come. Not physically, but spiritually. Not just in what you've done, but in who you've become. You used to wonder if you were worthy. Now you know you are. You used to seek approval. Now you walk in self-validation. You used to doubt the path. Now you are the path. This shift didn't come to entertain you. It came to awaken you. And now your soul is wide awake. Every cell in your body is vibrating at a new frequency. A divine one, a sovereign one, a chosen one. You don't need to rehearse anymore. The season of performance is over. You're no longer trying to become, you are. The doubts have faded. The second-guessing has dissolved. You walk in clarity. You decide with confidence. You move with peace. And the peace isn't based on what's happening outside. It's coming from what's established within. People will feel it. They'll feel your glow without you having to say a word. They'll sense your truth without you needing to convince them. You won't need to announce the shift. Your energy will do it for you. That's what happens when the shift is real. When it's not about hype. When it's about healing. When it's about homecoming. To the version of yourself you buried underneath pain, fear, shame, and conformity. The old cycle is over now. You're not bound to it anymore. You've untied yourself from timelines that weren't yours, expectations that exhausted you, and identities that kept you small. You've stepped out of survival and into creation. You're not just living, you're leading. Not in the way the world defines leadership, but in the way destiny does. Through example, through energy, through integrity. You are your ancestors' prayers fulfilled. You are your younger self's hope realized. You are your future self's foundation, being laid in real time. Everything you do now echoes through eternity, not because you're perfect, but because you're present, fully here, fully grounded, fully awakened. That is the power of the shift. It doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes it arrives in the quiet, a whisper in the soul that says, now. And you listened, you honored it, you followed it, even when no one else understood it, even when you had to walk away from what felt safe, even when the path ahead looked uncertain. You followed the pull of purpose, and now purpose is following you. Doors are opening that your past couldn't unlock. You're not who you used to be, so you don't attract what you used to settle for. You are aligned with a higher reality now, a reality that speaks your name, recognizes your essence, and matches your vibration. There will be moments ahead when the shift asks even more of you. When you're called to stand taller, speak louder, or walk away faster, honor those moments. They're not setbacks, they're sacred stretchings. They are reminders that the shift is still working, expanding you, refining you, preparing you. And through it all, never forget, you were chosen not because it would be easy, but because it would be meaningful. Not because it would be convenient, but because it would be transformational. Not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. And that willingness is what moves mountains. That willingness is what rewrites timelines. That willingness is what turned the impossible into your new normal. You now live from a place of power. Not power over others, but power over fear. Power over doubt. Power over limitation. You've transcended the stories that tried to confine you. You've rewritten the narrative, from hidden to highlighted, from overlooked to overqualified, from wounded to walking in wonder. You are the evidence that divine timing is real. You are the proof that alignment always wins. You are the confirmation that no shift is ever random. And now it's your turn to walk fully in it. Not just with your feet, but with your voice, your energy, your decisions, your presence. Let the world feel the fullness of your light, not in arrogance, in reverence, not in ego, in purpose, not for attention, for awakening. This is not the end of your story. It's the real beginning. So take a deep breath, chosen one. The delay was divine. The pain had a point. The shift was sacred. And now, it's your turn. It's always been your turn. You're just finally ready to claim it.